Online is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, link in the description below.
Hello and welcome to the Apex Online Racing YouTube channel, where today we have round 3 of Season 15 from the Apex Online Racing Project Cars 2 GT3. My name is Yorkie065, aka Matt York. I will be your commentator for the evening, bringing you all the juicy action that we have here from Ruapuna Park GP in New Zealand. Going to be an interesting race, 90 minutes in total. No qualifying that will be taking place prior to the start of the race session. We'll be jumping almost straight in. We're going to be having a 5-minute practice session just for people to kind of get settled in to go on with the race. But the grid order will be determined by the current championship standings, and they will be in reverse grid order. So 90 minutes for the drivers to try and make their way through and score the best possible position they can get for the checkered flag and get as many points as possible here in this round. But after last week, which was an absolute thriller, and it really stretched my voice because the action was that good, it was, yeah, very much hoping for the same sort of thing here again, although possibly not stretching my voice quite as much. So we are just kicking off with the lobby here, going into the practice session now. Currently loading in. So the circuit, 2.1 miles in length, which equates to about 3.3 kilometers total. There are 12 turns around the circuit. Quick double check on that. Eight. Yep, that seems about right. 12 there. So, yeah, from what I'm seeing, is very true, very accurate. So here we are, loading into the 5-minute practice session. This is basically just for the guys to double check their wheel setting, setup and everything is all good, and just before we do go live. But otherwise, we'll be going near enough directly straight into the action. Watching Aparicio, sorry, coming out of the pit lane. Let's actually jump on board with camera with him as he flies back to the pit lane. Davis Batworm is actually out on the circuit at the head of the field, so ride with him as we go around the circuit that isn't too familiar for an awful lot of people. It's quite a niche circuit over on the other side of the world to where we are based here in Europe, but it's a quite a technical, difficult track. There's not too many places to overtake. The main action points and overtaking opportunities are going to be in turns 1 and 2, hairpin at the top. So the turn 4 hairpin and 12 final hairpin, which is coming to second sector now for left-hander. And then this is one of the possible overtaking opportunities up here, but the straight lead in between the previous left-hander and this hairpin is quite short, so you're kind of relying on someone else to make the mistake. So we'll stick on board with that one for the moment. Hopefully it'll take us on a lap around the track. A few people pulling out of the pit lane, and as you can see, it feeds right onto the racing line. Here is turn 1. Go through that very quickly and immediately into turn 2. Be the main place for overtaking with long start finish straight. Got a short run. Turn 3 is still right-hander. Here. Turn 4, fast left. Don't take too much of the curb on the outside. You need a couple of track limit out there. This is one of the overtaking opportunities here into the turn 5 hairpin. Okay, turn 4. It means turn 5. Now come into turn 6. Right-hander of turn 7. Immediately followed by a left-hander of turn 8, which is quite completely flat out before we go turn 9. Long right-hander here, which is a little bit awkward. Tightens midway through and then opens up again on the exit. Come into turn 10. Pretty fast right-hander. Turn 11, fast left. And out through the exit, another place where you need to be careful if the track limits and not run out too wide before coming into the final turn on turn 12. An early apex, just over on the right-hand side of the circuit there. Kind of halfway through the corner was the entrance to the pit lane, which is not the most modern facilities, but it serves its purpose. Allows the guys to get the cars served at some point during the race, which doubt they will be doing so. There is a mandatory pit stop that the guys will have to complete at some point during this race, but they also need to be most likely taking fuel on board, considering the length of the race. Most likely probably will change tyres as well. There's a little bit of a debate as to whether a tyre change is actually needed or not. People opting to probably go for the tyre change. Some people trying to make the tyres last the entire 90 minutes. Just going to see how that will unfold into race strategy later on in the race, but we won't be seeing people employ their usual race strategies of pitting in the opening laps unless they have a catastrophic accident and get some pretty hefty damage and need to go in and repair that. At the moment, Coach GTR being back, missing from the previous round at Ruapuna. He's currently got the fastest time, even though this is a practice session, so these times don't really count for anything. Kind of more just a little bit of reaffirming for us as to who on the pace here. Speedy go. Troubles last week. WMBR Martin once again. Viper going. Doing that. Right clicking Mr. Zach. Fourth at the moment in this practice sessioning. Chris, who was a very strong contender last time round. Currently at 5th place at the moment, but he's starting from second to last on the grid. The person who will be starting in last place and is currently at the moment leading the championship is this man, Andrex, who's just pulling into his pit stop to do a practice pit stop. But yeah, with 5th position in the opening round, a 3rd place in race 1 of 2 from last week, and then a 1st position in the 2nd race, the big race. He was absolutely chuffed to bits with that result, and has now got himself at the head of the championship table here by 18 points to Chris in that BMW Z4. There he is, that in his pit garage. Strongest Avenger, that in 2nd. That's there he is in his Acura. Currently 3rd in the championship. As Turbo is a bit further down. He's had a bit of a nightmare to this name there on the leaderboard. There he is. Currently sat in his pit garage in the overall standings. He's down in 16th position, so he's in a pretty good spot for potentially back Coast GTR is probably the person favourite to take the race win here. Is he currently scored only a single point, disconnect in the 1st round, and then races that we had last week in round 2 he was not present for. Not really much point going through these sessions results here because they don't count for anything. So let's advance ourselves on to the race then. Guys will have 2 minutes, so just to get themselves settled, get themselves comfy. Haven't already done so. Check that they've got the correct setup and the correct strategy applied for the race, so that work done on the car that they want and get done during the race. Yeah, just hit that ready button. And ready to go. We've got 6 drivers in total, and you will have to bear with us in the formation lap, as the drivers will be sorting themselves out into their correct starting positions. So our league coordinator, Stefan Curry, sorting that out for everyone and calling and up on the top of the pit buildings and on the balconies. A gyro attached to his, well, all over the place there. So yeah, don't worry about the grid order that you currently see here on your screen. This will be all shuffled round, changed out. Let's see, get a bit of an idea as starting there, but it very much depends on drivers are actually present at the eve. Starting in pole position, Crab, Mad Haze, Bones, for drivers. So I think Crab will be starting on pole position. Then have Coates GTR starting second place, probably favourite to race here. Hun is in the session, starting in third. And I don't see his name here in the list. Starting position. Crab here, form up at the head of the field. I think drivers are trying to kind of somewhat move to facilitate grid to flow on through, form up without risking any potential contact. So, no, Clank is in the session. Excuse me. Clank will be starting in pole position. Ferrari 488, as we can see there. Yeah, he did start the opening round. He finished position outside the outside. Crab will be starting second place. Third even. Yeah. In third. There he is, back in a grid. He may be remaining stationary. No, he's got the pace. He was just unfortunate that he disconnected at the beginning of round one, just before we actually went to the grid. Took pole position. And to take pole position race, but yeah, he may just be opting to start at the back of the grid. Proper points. After Atomic, Love Conan, ourselves, little parked up train here as the guys wait for everyone else to filter through their position up on the back. Rip will be starting in 5th position. In with a good shout here if he can avoid making mistakes and himself out of trouble. We've got Duke in 6th position at Demon Peaks, red and bikini. Fatworm starting in 7th position, red and white. Audi R8 just behind him. No Apparuccio in the black and white 911. Got Yobsk in the dark blue Ferrari 488 with As Turbo starting behind green Ladies AMG. Otto Winkler, the first two black and yellow 911s. We have Gregwin starting in the Cadillac. They're in 12th position. Cook in 13th position. Probably would have been starting further down the grid, but he's had some pretty bad luck in the opening couple of rounds. Actually, that will be starting in 13th. I think Yoga will be starting in 14th position. Tony Clifton, 15th place. Leaders teamed up with Fatworm now. We've got Fubar, which is Andrex's teammate. He started in 16th position with WMDR Martin and famous Winter Viper starting there in 17th place. Then got Thiago Rivera there in 18th place. Coming on round. That's an interesting name. United Kingdom, Great Germany. I do believe that is Stephen Curry, the league coordinator. That name converted. Obviously, that was a bit of a mouthful compared to Stephen Curry. So he'll be starting in 19th place. We've got Paphos there starting in 20th position. Alan starting in 20th position. Pathos 21st. Billy Go in 23rd position. Strongest Avenger in the Acura starting in 3rd. Chris in the BMW Z4, starting in 4th position. 5th being occupied by Andrex, and then indeed Coates GTR, as I thought, would be starting from the back of the grid. Has got the pace, just hasn't really scored any real points. Mike in quiet, so very much out. Boost my microphone a little bit. I should want this game slightly. Hopefully that sounds a little bit better. You guys, but round 3 is about to get underway with 90 minutes of racing in just a moment. It all depends on when Plank goes and puts his foot down, which I believe he's done so now. Atomic's had a pretty poor start, and immediately Subconan is trying to threaten that 3rd position, going around the outside as we on the run down in towards turn 1 and 2. Will the drivers be able to keep it fairly nice and clean coming through here? We'll try and stick with as many of them as possible as they try and filter through the first couple of turns. It looks pretty good so far, but we've got 3 wide out on the exit. Drops down to 2 wide and 1 wide. Jobs is now up into 9th position in his Ferrari. Pretty good start by him. Oh dear, we got some big contact there between a number of drivers. I believe that was As Turbo caught up in that. Indeed it is. Also, I think his teammate Atomic was also caught up in that one. Yeah, both the 2 teammates got collected with each other, with one of the drivers finding themselves out wide and then losing the rear of the car. As Turbo's got quite a bit of damage to the front of his and rear of his car. By the looks of things, completely missing a rear wing, and that Mercedes AMG GT3 car looking a little bit shorter than it was previously just 30 seconds ago. We're all filtering the way through the second sector at the moment, with Andrex trying to look down the inside of As Turbo. Andrex has had a very good start. He's up into 18th position, starting from 25th on the grid. So he's managed to keep his nose clean as Deuce was running out wide. Deuce has had an absolute terrible nightmare of a start. He's dropped way down the order. He was up there in and around 4th, 5th position from his start. You can see Icky Chris trying to make the move down the inside between a couple of drivers. He's up on the grass. Does he manage to collect it back up? And indeed he does. That was very, very close there for him, trying to gain as many positions as he possibly can in this early phase of the race. Right on board with him in the roof cam. As you can see, these reverse grid order races throwing up some great racing action as the faster guys are trying to work their way through the field as quickly as possible. Chris taking 2 cars there in the first couple of turns and finds himself up into 20th position. Nice move by him, but he's got some damage to the front right of his Z4. Hopefully that's not too bad and going to affect his pace too much. Let's jump up to the front of the field. We've got Trip all over the back of Crab, who started in 2nd position. But Crab with not the best of starts. Conan is now up into 2nd place. Plank is still leading the way, 2 seconds up the road from Subconan in the Audi R8. There we can see him just off in the distance, going off to the right of the screen there. Rip looking to try and get himself past Crab as soon as he possibly can. We've got a couple of penalties for Subconan and Crab ready as well. Take a quick look to see what those are. 4 seconds for Subconan and 2 seconds for Crab. Drivers will need to be careful with the track limits here, as there are a few places where you can run out wide and you can find yourselves possibly being under the watchful eye of the stewards. Crab going a little bit defensive there to Trip, who had to take a little bit of avoiding action as Crab has started moving over on the start-finish straight. Now coming on the run down towards turn 1. Trip has got the inside line. Surely the position is going to be his as they come in fairly close to one another, but coming through the left-hander, Trip has managed to get himself up into 3rd place for now, but Crab is trying to come back at him with the switchback. Coming into turn 4, he's got the inside line. Rip does concede the position for the moment. That's going to find himself very much under pressure from Fatworm, who's looking down the inside as we come in towards the hairpin of turn 5. Will Trip be able to hold it around the outside here? Give the Audi R8 driver a little bit of a squeeze. Good defensive driving by him, able to keep the racing fair respectable, unless there's some difficulty going on in the background between a few drivers there. We've got Mr. Zach caught up in that, and I believe it was a coming together between Gregwin and Fubar. Gregwin in that Cadillac. Zach there in 10th position at the moment. Tony Clifton just in front in 9th. We've got Jobs in the Ferrari 488 in 11th position behind. We've got a few more drivers popping up with the red number boards to indicate that they picked up 9 penalties somewhere along the line. But Fubar will be happy now being up into 7th position. He's got a bit of clear air in front of him as Jorgo is going, or having a look down the inside. Oh, Fatworm is, I think there may have been a little bit of touch there. Fatworm kind of went round slightly into a slight half spin. It might have been contact, I'm not entirely sure on that. But Jorgo is now up into 5th position, considering that he's just driven off away and not given that position back. Indicate to me that Jorgo took that position fair and square and was just just losing the car. But we now see that Tripp has managed to get through up into the final step of the podium ahead of Crab this time round, managing to pull the move off in turn 2 and stay ahead. He's now got a little bit of clear air in front of him, about 4 odd seconds up to Subconan. It'll be interesting to see what pace Tripp has now that he's got that space, run his pace. And we've got Jorgo looking down the inside of Crab here, coming through turn 7, I believe that is, now coming into turn 8, going around the outside. He's now got himself up into 4th position. Brilliant move by him. That means that he's going to be hot on the heels of Tripp, trying to close that gap down. See if he can hunt down the leaders later on. We know that Jorgo has got the pace. Just looking at his previous results, where is he currently in the standings? He's 12th position at the moment. Finished in 4th place in the opening round. Finished 23rd in race 1 last week, and then he ended up disconnecting or retiring from the second race last week. Well, we got a bit of a 3-wide situation almost there, as Fubar is now up into 6th position ahead of Fatworm. He's making short work of the traffic, getting himself up a few positions. He's now hunting down Crab as we come in towards turn 1. Little left-handed king is going to be on the inside for turn 2. Will he be able to pull the move off? Indeed he does. Crab conceding the position, trying to come back at him a little bit. Oh, that's Andrax in the background there. He's now up into 8th place. He's having an absolute phenomenal opening stint to this round. 6 laps in, 5 racing laps. He's found himself up in 8th position from starting down in 25th on the grid, able to work his way through the field pretty cleanly. And in fact, Coach GTR, who started from the back of the grid, has managed to follow Andrex through. He's got a tiny little bit of damage to the front left of that Lamborghini, but he's in 9th position. A good strong performance by those two drivers at the moment, but we saw Andrex almost making contact, as I think it was Bregwin who was struggling coming out the exit of turn 2. Big power from that Cadillac. A little bit difficult to tame, especially with the turbos that the car has. The power does come on sharp. Doesn't have a huge amount of downforce, as we saw one of the drivers spinning off the circuit there. Who was that? It was Thiago Pereira. Not having the best of races so far. We've seen him have pretty strong pace so far in this season, but he's down in 19th at the moment, having some difficulty trying to work his way through the field and stay out of trouble. He can recover his race somewhat after having a slight half spin coming out the exit of turn 10, which is known as Jeff's Court. Must have been very fond of that. Oh, Clank's down into 2nd position, so we've had a change of lead at the head of the field. Subconan now leading the way in the Audi R8. Clank in his Ferrari, currently there in 3rd place at the moment. In the background, we've got Tripp and Fubar going at it wheel to wheel as they come through the hairpin. Coach GTR has just conceded a position in the background there to Crab. So there's action all throughout the field. It's mainly this mid-pack though that is the closest and most interesting. So we're right on board with Coach GTR as he's getting a very good look at the internals of the Lamborghini in front of him. Does he get the better drive coming off the exit of ground lift carousel? Indeed he has. So he's managed to get himself back up into stone position. He'll be eager to try and close back up onto the rear of Andrex, who is up in front. See if he can keep pace with him and continue to follow him on through the field. At the moment, Andrex going to be watching his teammate just over a second up the road, battling away with Tripp for 4th position overall. Fubar isn't close enough this time round to try and make the move coming into turn 2 here, which is the major braking zone. Turn 1 is just like a little left-handed kink that you kind of start braking in halfway through, ready for turn 2. Left-hander's a little bit awkward. You get the nice compression on the exit there. It does help put the car in a little bit, but still it's not quite as open and forgiving as you would like it to be. This section here is quite technical, line just right. Drivers choosing to stay off the curbing and the grass. It's quite tall curbing around circuit in a number of places. As Fubar is right there on the rear wing of the Lamborghini of Tripp, just in front. fairly good job so far of holding Fubar off. Fubar could potentially be looking for a move down the inside coming into the final turn here. Will he go for the move on the brakes? Indeed he does, making a little bit of contact there with Trip, both of them brushing doors and rubbing panels, being forced out a little bit wide. Fubar getting his elbows out a little bit, but that is very much the nature of the game in GT3 racing. And Trip has just actually conceded a position to Andrex as well, just letting him go on through and not really worrying about battling that one. The two teammates follow each other on through at the moment as we're on to lap 9 of 66 in total. Speedy go into the pit lane. I think the first driver to pull into the pits, or what I have seen, there may have been some other drivers, excuse me, who have gone in. I just heard the Z4 Vinky Chris go through, so not had the best of runs so far. He's got a little bit of damage there to front right, but I don't know whether he has made a stop yet or not. Basically service mandatory pit stop and go to the end of the race. Bring up the track map and also the speedo there. We'll give an indication of the fuel loads for a number of drivers. So Chris is near enough maxed out, I think. Liters. WM Martin is 107. Guys at front on 100. You know he definitely has not pitted as of yet. So a few of the guys I think still yet to have been in. Spigo is now back out onto down there in 24th position at the moment. Pathos just behind him in 25th, and Nono Aparicio there in 23rd place, which is the 911. There in the foreground of the picture, just in front, the nose on that Lamborghini, and then a bit further down in kind of no man's land at the moment, past Turbo. But we saw him in serious trouble at the beginning of the race. Tony Clifton is now into the pit lane. 102 litres comes in with. See, he pops up on any fuel here. Clank has also been through the pit lane. You can see him just exiting there. So that's from the head of the field, and he's dropped down into first position. Tony Clifton's now on his way out, and indeed he has taken fuel on board, only by a small margin. I think about 6 litres or so. Not really much that he's taken on, but hopefully that'll be enough to see him throughout the remainder of the race. Come back up to the head of the field here. Fubar currently in 3rd position, hunting down Gugger in 2nd place, which is the Lemon Lamborghini, and then just behind, just under a second, is Andrex. Well, seems like he's getting a pretty good drive coming off the exit of the final turn there. Really making too many inroads on the Lamborghini in front of the Lamborghini's got the straight line speed to the turn 2. The Audi has got a little bit more downforce than the Lamborghini has. I think, if I remember correctly, the Lamborghini doesn't have an adjustable front splitter, whereas the Audi does. That's probably why we're seeing a bit more front end grip from the Audi, and that was Jorgo going a little bit deep there in the turn 5 hairpin. That's allowed Fubar through up into 2nd place. They are closing down on Sub Conan, who is currently out in the race lead at the moment, but he's only a 2.5 seconds up the road. So Jorgo is now down in 3rd. He's got Andrex now all over the rear of his car. But we see potential changes of positions coming down the start-finish straight this time round. Certainly seems like the Audi seem to be stronger through the mid-section of the track. Andrex just presenting himself in the mirrors of Jorgo. A little bit there coming into the final turn, trying to distract him a little bit. Fubar again with a good drive coming off the exit of the final turn. Now the Lamborghini's starting to stretch its legs a little bit more. As we can see, he's starting to eke out a car length or 2 away from Andrex. He's not going to be close enough to go for the move. Coming down in towards the hairpin here of turn 2. Oh, big wiggle there though by Jorgo. Just about manages to gather it back up. Andrex almost going into the rear of the Lamborghini, but manages to see that unfolding in front of him and react just in time to avoid making contact. So good awareness there by Andrex. Just behind we've got Coach GTR trying to find a way past Trip. Struggling at the moment, but has a look down the inside coming into turn 5. Not going to make it work there though. wasn't quite able to get up alongside, although he's got a good drive coming off of the exit. It's going to be side by side between the two of them as they come into a very twisty, windy section of the second sector. Not being able to get far enough up alongside or have the confidence to get that position away just yet, but Trip goes deep there and allows Coach GTR to go on through. I think that position may have been facilitated. Well, actually, I'm trying to second guess that now, seeing as Trip was trying to attack Coach GTR there, coming into turn 10 to Jeff's corner. Yeah. Coach GTR now up into 5th place. Let's a little bit further down. Gregwin has managed to tame the Cadillac somewhat, has now got himself up into 9th position, so he's gained a few positions from where we last saw him. I believe he was kind of in and around 11th, 12th place. The cars in the background. We've got a very open infield section here to this circuit. See all the cars circulating around the track, the background of these spots, which is absolutely brilliant for spotting battles and things like that. But Gregwin at the moment trying to hunt down Allen, about half a second off between those two, and then just behind them got Otto Winkler, Iago Pereira looking down the inside of Crab, and he takes that position as we come through the braking zone and into turn 2. Iago Pereira managed to settle himself down after we saw him having a slight half spin earlier on in the race. Now up into 10th place with some clear air, 3.5 seconds to Redwin up in front, so he'll be looking to get his head down and close that gap down. Now Crab's got a worry about Otto Winkler and also Fat One behind. Oh, Tiago Pereira's had a little half spin there. Coming through turn 5, he's rejoined the track just in front of Iggy Chris. That was a little bit awkward and a little bit dangerous. I think the guys managed to skirt around him though without making contact, but that would have been some heart and mouth moments for Iago and a few of the guys who are around him. Iago's now got down into 14th position after that mistake. He's got WMDR Martin now hunting him down with the windscreen wiper. If try and close that gap down of a second over the next few laps. A bit further back we've got Atomic in 19th position hunting down Pathos. Battle for 18th place. Tony Clifton lurking in and around a second off the back of Clank. He's got Mr. Zach. That's 6 to 7 tenths behind. Got Aparicio and yeah, it's just those 4 cars. Sorry, that kind of in a bit of a train there. So that's interesting. But Andrax is now up into 2nd place. Yorga has dropped down into 3rd place. So the 2 teammates of Fubar and Andrax in the 2 Audi R8s now managed to get themselves up into 1st and 2nd position. There you can see him running head to tail with each other. Quite a nice liveried Audi R8, I must say. Very good out on circuit with their yellow headlights on as well. They're now looking to try and build the gap and see if they can pull away from Yorga. They've got Stop Conan, who was keeping pace with Andrex and Fubar up in front. Now found himself on the back of the Lamborghini. So he's lost seconds or so on the previous lap. A few drivers down in the 119s. Don't think we've any 118s as of yet. 7 there for Go. Big Speedy Go is the man who's got the fastest lap at the moment, that 1916. Yeah, they're in a very good, strong result at the moment. We've got that background there. Was Deuce struggling. I was trying to find him on the leaderboard. We've had one retiree so far from the race, which I think may be As Turbo. Indeed it is. He's fortunately had some troubles at the start of the race and connected with his teammate and suffered an awful lot of damage. Doesn't feel that he can really recover and score any points there. I think Goose is a lap down on everyone at the moment. Yeah, he's not a lap down from everyone, but a lap down from a fair amount of the field. back up to Podium's sub Conan's a little bit deep there in turn 2. We've just seen not quite able to get the pace or get quite settled. Guys in front to hang with them has gone and lost a whole bunch of time. Dropped off podium positions for the moment. He'll be looking to regain his focus and try and close up to the back of them. Let's see, we've got WMDR Martin fairly close to the back of Otto Winkler, and I believe we've got Crab and also Strongest Avenger there? Is Thiago Pereira there indeed? Yes, indeed, it is Strongest Avenger. Getting himself up into 14th position, gaining a couple of places there, but Strongest Avenger's actually coming back at him as we're coming in. Oh, big contact there! Crab's just gone straight into the back of Strongest Avenger and sent him round in a full 180. Can he keep it out the wall? Yes, he does. Realised that wall was coming up and then planted the accelerator. Crab does the right thing and lets Strongest Avenger go back ahead, but that's gone and pushed Strongest Avenger down a whole bunch of positions. Was up in and around 14th, 15th place, but he's now down in 17th, potentially with some damage through the rear of that Acura as well. No doubt he would like to get repaired in the pits if he hasn't already been through the pit lane, which I imagine he has if he's this far down. Yeah, a little bit of drama there. Crab and Strongest Avenger. Strongest line with a good start to the season. Took the race win in round 1. Second place in race 1 of round 2, and unfortunately had a disconnection in the second race. Yeah, looking quite as strong this time round here in round 3. Back behind Pathos in the Audi R8 at the moment, and obviously he's looking to try and find a way past, but he'll be wanting to do that as quickly as he possibly can. Let's jump up to Jobsk, hunting down Mr. Zach. So Nuno Aparicio there, the Porsche, blue Porsche up in front. Quite a few drivers have got time penalties now to their names. 2 race leaders though. Themselves clean at the moment. Jobs is slowing down, potentially trying to serve a slow down warning. We did him run a little bit wide going through turn 4, so let's jump up to Mr. Zach there. Battle between him and Nuno as they are close here. Coming into Jeff's corner. Zach struggling with the car a little bit there, trying to break away from him. Managed to hold on to it though. Hank down into the 3rd position. Know that he is pitted as well as Atomic at the tail end of it. Come back on board with WMDR Martin, who's lurking around, currently in 12th position at the moment. Got some scrapes to his Lamborghini. Great things about having a white car is it's what the dirt and the damage on the livery. Martin is hunting down Backworm up in front. Thiago Pereira over 3 to 3.5 seconds behind, so really comfortable there, not really under pressure, more applying the pressure to the 2 guys in front. Here one, Coach GTR being another. If Coach GTR has been through the pit lane as of yet, I imagine that he has, considering he's been finding Chris being pitted earlier on in the race. That Ford driver who been very dominant last time round in round 2, took the race win in the first of the 2 races, and in second race, sorry, got caught up by a spinning car, and that was Gregwin spinning off there on the exit of turn 4. Just onto the track safely though, but he's gone and lost a whole bunch of positions from that, dropping down into 11th position. Fat one coming across the nose of the Cadillac driver, almost spinning himself there. WMDR Martin manages to slip through because of that, unsettling Gregwin's car. Martin is now up into 11th position. Gregwin now dropping down into 12th after being up in 8th place. Really unfortunate for him, struggling with the tyres. Rear of that Cadillac. Martin now finds himself right on the rear bumper of Fatworm, so Martin really try and make the move very soon. Having a little bit of a look there, coming into the final turn, goes a little bit deep under braking. Can he bring it back? Will Gregwin occupy the space on the exit? Indeed he does. There's a drag race between the two, but Lamborghini has the legs, although there's a flash of lights there. Not entirely sure what the flash of lights was for, but he's dropped off the back of Fatworm. Possibly feeling squeezed a little bit. Fatworm going a little bit deep. That was Goose trying to get out of the way there, spinning off to the right hand side of the picture and rejoining back onto the circuit. He is a lap down from guys. Battle for 10th position. Through pothole. Now into Kelford Camtech corner. Interesting names here around this circuit. Jeff's corner is Ben. Martin trying to line up a position. Go around the outside of Fatworm here. He's going to be on the inside coming into Crown Lift Carousel. Will he be able to pull the move off here? Or will Fatworm defend around the outside and hold him off on the run down towards Jeff Corner? It's going to be side by side. Surely Martin is going to take the position here. He does indeed, and Fatworm actually loses out on 2 places as Gregwin also manages to sneak on through. Very good stuff by him to capitalise and see that happening and cover 11th position, but WMDR Martin now up into 10th. Cadillac right behind though, unless he can get a good drive coming off the exit of the final turn here. Looks like he does, manages to pull out a car length or 2. Against the Cadillac really benefiting from the slipstream and mounting a challenge coming here in the first turn, so Martin can now start to try and focus, get his head down, work the pad using, not a wheel driver, he's a pad user here at AOR. See if he can close down on the guys in front. Double check on the leaders to see what's happening up here. Fubar, head of the field, has started to pull away from Mandrex a little bit. He's actually got himself a time penalty now as well. So Mandrex, who tends to keep his nose fairly clean, both out of trouble from contact, but also in terms of track limits, he doesn't hit them too hard, and plays it relatively safe. Has found himself with a time penalty. He's come to that. Cook is there. Been a second. Let's do a penalty run through. Drivers got Mandrex. Jorgoka got 3 seconds. 7 seconds for Steph Conan. 1 second for Grip. Stephen Curry in stick position. Relatively quiet race. There. Penalty as his coach GT3 car. 1 second for Bergwin. Goes also got 1 second. Chris Papos strong Benjamin 4. 2 seconds for Otto Winkler. Grabber's got 37 seconds. That probably would have been 30 odd seconds for that. Would probably be for passing a driver whilst off the circuit, which would most likely be avoiding actions. Probably take that 30-second penalty to the stewards, give some evidence and said, look, I had no choice, I was trying to avoid a driver, had to basically go off the track in order to avoid crashing into them. Can have that 30-second penalty revoked, and they will do so. I would imagine Aparicio will be doing the same as well. 31-second penalty, 1 second for Jobs, and Mr. Zach Plank and Atomic has a 3-second penalty name as well. So the majority of drivers, good 85% of them, picked up time penalty some form or another so far in this race. Here is our lead coordinator, Stephen Curry, coming through the final turn, hunting down Trip. He's got Alan, been half a second behind as well. Alan, Stephen Curry have had a fairly quiet race so far. Really seen too much of them. Watch this this car fight for 5th position at the head of the trio. Different engine notes. 2 Lamborghinis running V10. and got the deep rumble from the Mercedes AMG V8. Another V8 lurking in the background. Form of Inky Chris. Real life, if you ever had the pleasure of seeing Z4 GT3 car, proper Z4 car going at full back, proper driver behind the wheel, those things do drown out pretty much any other car on the circuit. It's louder than a Lamborghini, the Audi R8, louder than the Aston Martin V12 Vantage 3. Absolute phenomenal noise. Trying to break the toe a little bit, coming down the start-finish straight, moving over towards the inside. He now takes back up the racing line, but Stephen Curry's getting close onto the back of the Lamborghini in front, but is it close enough to make the move here? Unless he can get a good drive coming off the exit of turn 2. About equal in the two Lamborghini. Turn 3, now into turn 4. A little bit tricky to follow the car in front going through there. Constantina effect of the gap opening up, trip going a little bit deep, the hairpin, braking just a little bit too late, Curry a little bit neater, Allen still holding on to the half a second gap behind, there or thereabouts. Come into turn 9, going through there on the run down towards Jeff's corner. Brown Nissen. Now we're on to the final turn, the rock sweeper, and Stephen Curry having a look down the inside of Tripp. No contact there between the two drivers, but Tripp has gone a little bit deep. Gets a pretty good drive coming off the exit of the corner, able to get his car that little bit straighter. And now Stephen Curry going to be there on the outside. It's side by side between the two on the run down into the braking zone. Stephen Curry trying to go the long way around the outside of Tripp coming through turn 2. Will he be able to pull the move off, or will Tripp be able to hold on to that 5th position? For the moment it's still side by side between the two. Tripp has got the inside line coming into turn 4. Surely he's going to nose ahead, squeezing Stephen Curry a little bit out on the exit. Allen is here trying to cash in on this battle as well, and for now Tripp does manage to defend and hold on to the position. Now a 4-car fight though, as the battling between the two drivers at the front of this train brought Inky Chris into play, and he's now right at the back, the tail end of this train. Let's jump on board with him. They'll probably give us the best view of the 3 cars in front. Coming through turn 9 now. They're running a little bit wide there, possibly making use of all the available bit on the circuit. Allen is just seeming to sit patient for the moment, watching the two guys up in front battle away and basically wait for a prime opportunity. Try and make a move, but he's gone a little bit deep there on the exit of the penultimate turn. Inky Chris having a little bit of a look to the inside coming into the final corner. That's gone and distracted Allen a little bit. Gone side by side coming out through the exit. Who's going to get the better drive? Who's going to have the legs down the start finish straight here? I think Allen is going to have the slipstream of the 2 cars in front, as Inky Chris trying to look to the inside line, going for the move coming into turn 1, turn 2. Will he be able to get later on the brakes? I think Allen just let him slip on through there, and Inky Chris does indeed got himself now up into 7th position and can hunt the 2 guys up in front. They've not really tried to battle each other hard this time round on part of this lap, but seeing Inky Chris coming up behind them, they'll know that they'll need to get it done as soon as they possibly can. We've got Clank here trying to get out the way of the guys, letting them on through, being lapped by these drivers, and does a pretty good job doing so, to be fair. Come back onto the track at one point, but it kind of forced the guys offline, but he needed to come back onto the circuit at some point or another, and he did so in a fairly safe way, leaving plenty of room. So good stuff by him, not really affecting, having too much of an impact here in this battle, but once again Inky Chris fairly close to the back of the car in front as we go through the penultimate turn. Will he go for make the move coming into the final corner? No, because Stephen Curry is going a little bit defensive, but also presented himself in the mirrors of Tripp just in front. Going to be able to get the best drive coming off the exit of the turn though. Looked like Inky Chris got a pretty good drive there. Tripp immediately going over to the left hand side of the track, going to go a little bit defensive, try and break the toe, but I think Inky Chris is on the outside of Stephen Curry. Actually, no, he's not quite got the overlap between the two guys there. Oh, contact between Alan and Inky Chris. That's gone and pushed Inky Chris off the circuit and gone out wide. Alan goes and slips on through. I don't think Inky Chris is going to be too best pleased with that, because no doubt, although he was going a little bit deep and losing the rear end of the car slightly, certainly helped there by the bump from Alan in the Mercedes AMG, and you can see that the front nose of that Mercedes has been slightly rearranged. It's not quite as perfectly symmetrical as it was previously, but I'm sure Inky Chris managed to find his way through again fairly soon. See that he's had some good strong pace, not shy of trying to make an overtaking manoeuvre. Curry making a look there on Trip. And we're now in turn 11. Curry actually pretty close to the back of Trip and is having a look to the inside as we're coming down towards the last turn. He's going for the move under the brakes. Both of them going a little bit deep there. This could allow Alan and Inky Chris to close up on back through, but I think for the moment Stephen Curry has managed to get the move done and dusted. Indeed he is. He's now up into 4th place. Trip trying to pick up the slipstream. Will you try and remount the challenge, coming back down towards turn 1 and turn 2? Stephen Curry covering off the inside line, forcing Trip to try and go around the outside, but Trip wasn't quite able to get the overlap there, really threatened the position. So Stephen Curry has now got himself up into 4th place. Trip is now going to be coming under threat from Alan and Inky Chris, who are still battling away as they're coming on the run down towards turn 5. Inky Chris having a look to the inside of Alan though, coming in towards the hairpin. He manages to get his nose up and inside there and manages to muscle his way through, retake that 6th position away from Alan. Good racing action here by some of the front midfield runners. They're trying to work their way through the field. Not even halfway through the race as of yet either. Feels like it's been going on for quite a while. What time is it? 5 to 9 here in the UK currently. Been going for a good 40 odd minutes or so. Imagine be clocking up to the halfway mark very, very soon. Up a smoke there as the side rear tyre spinning up the rear of Alan's car. Chris again looking at the back of the Lamborghini in front of him, try and make that move as soon as he possibly can. Try and hunt down Stephen Curry and see if he can get in front of him to get himself up into 4th place. He just bided his time though. Felt the best moment and best opportunity which could be coming here. Inky Chris almost going for the move on the inside. Trip covers that one off and defends it. Good drive coming through the corner. Does Trip, holds on to that 5th position from now. Defensive driving by the Lamborghini driver. Dead 4 at bay for the moment. Oh, Trip's gone a little bit deep there. This is Chris's opportunity to slip on through, and indeed he does. Looks like he got a pretty good drive coming off the exit of the corner, and indeed he does go through there. I wonder if that was Trip just letting Inky Chris go through and not really worrying about battling him too much, or just thinking about long-term game here in this race, is getting out the way of these front runners. So Trip's going to have to go around the outside of the Demon Tweaks Lamborghini to get past there. Alan trying to capitalise on that, trying to get the power down early. Found the rear end of his car trying to break away from him. Traction zone. Still in 7th position at the moment. Let's jump further back. Speedy go. Down Fat Worm. He for 11th place at the moment. And Strongest Avenger still down in 14th, but closed up onto the back of Tiago Pereira. Avenger not really having the race he would have been hoping for at the moment. He's cuffs down the right hand side of the car. We know that he got a fairly heavy hit on the rear of his car earlier on in the race. That could be affecting his here. So saying that, he's just gone and done a 119.5, so quite clear. Got the pace taken 1.4 seconds out of Tiago Pereira on that previous lap. In the move down the inside, oh, Tiago Pereira came back across just as they were coming into the braking zone. went to go cover off. A slight faked move. Strongest Avenger came through. I think he got caught out on brakes there. Went a little bit deep and went into turn 5. Managed to gather it back up though without spinning. Lost about 7 to 8 tenths of a second. So, but still very much there. We now got Inky Chris, drag racing, the coordinator down towards turn 1. We've got V8 versus V10 power here. They're on the run down. Italian versus German efficiency. Inky Chris has got the inside line. Oh, Stephen Curry's going to dip the outside wheels onto the grass. That would have taken away all the grip that he would have had under braking and ready for the turn in. That's going to allow the Z4 driver, Inky Chris, to slot himself up into 4th position. No doubt he'll be pleased with that one. He wanted to get his head down and try and push to close up to Yoguk, who is 20.5 seconds up the road from him. So he's got his work cut out for him, but he's still got a good 35 laps remaining in order to close that gap down. So he'll be pushing hard. Curry at the moment holding on to the back. Z4 in front of him. Goes out onto the grass once again. Now the exit of turn 8. Still holding off Alan for the moment, as we can see. Aparicio is hunting down Tony Clifton. Half a second between those two drivers as they come into turn 2. Car looks right from the front. Lano's front end damage. Had that aired at some point in the pit stops. The game just hasn't affected that. Might be wondering if there's a little bit of damage to the rear end of Tony Clifton's car, but look like there is. I think Tony's just struggling a little bit with his Audi underneath him. I know. So struggling with the Porsche as well. There was showing some good kinds of pace last time round in the previous race. He was finished 14th in race 1. I remember in one of the 2 races, race 2, he was kind of up in and around the top 5 and running some good lap times. All throughout both the 2 races. But unfortunately, he had some bad luck. Second race and ended up retiring, getting involved in a big accident. Pretty much terminal damage, I think. Alan hunting down Trip at the moment at the head of the field. Uber still leading the way, working his way through the traffic. I believe backs of Otto down in P16. That is also Crab that's there, also a further lap down as well. So Fubar's working his way through the traffic at the moment. Good job of getting out of his way and not really interfering, affecting him too much. Andrex there in second place, still at the moment 3.5 seconds off of his teammate to run the pace, running and not really interfere with a good team result here. Goguk is 8 seconds off the back of Andrex. There he is. Still trying to work his way through the traffic. Now his car looking pretty good and clean. That Lamborghini. Inky Chris, we see, managed to make him way up into 4th position now. Starting to build that gap to the guys behind. 3 seconds. His gap down to 19.5 seconds there or thereabouts. Goguk now, so he's taken a second out of him back from the previous lap. 1.1 to be exact. See how much time he's managed to take out of him this time round. Further 8 tenths of a second. Actually, previously, lap time that I was referring to, the beginning of lap 34 for Goguk, so lap time for lap 33. Stephen Curry, position at the moment, losing touch to Chris. Mentioned pull away from Trip a little bit, who has dropped Alan. Well, now 4 seconds off the back. Lamborghini driving is very much under threat from Coast GTR. Between Racing Lamborghini. pushing hard. Take that 7th position away. Possibly can. Take that. Turn 9. Slight bit of under rotation from front wheels, but managed to stop up. One round, just background. Avenger down Batworm. Battle here for 12th position. Keep both cars in the picture. Car length or two between the pair of them. Just corner now. Now Batworm coming very much under pressure as he comes into the final turn. Strongest Avenger later on the brakes, going to go deeper. Is he trying to hang it around the outside, which is a long way round there. Takes away the exit a little bit from Batworm. Now slots in behind. There you can see the rear end of the Audi R8 in a pretty much perfect view. Batworm going defensive as we come in towards the first 2 turns. Strongest Avenger trying to go around the outside, trying to go for a switchback. Well, but that didn't quite work. Didn't quite work as Batworm placed his car beautifully to defend from that manoeuvre. Strongest Avenger running a little bit wide out there. He could find himself with a slowdown penalty here. Not careful. Through 5. Dropped off the back of Batworm a little bit, I'm guessing, to try and serve that slowdown warning. Avoid picking up any more time penalties. What Coach GTR doing in terms of gaining on Alan, as Alan had a very, very sideways car coming out the exit of that final turn there. Surely this is going to be a good opportunity for Coach GTR to pick up the slipstream and try and make a move coming in towards turn 1 and 2. He's having a little bit of a sniff down the inside, but isn't going to be close enough to try and make the move there. And you can definitely see that Alan is really struggling with the tyres. Gone a little bit deep on the exit, and Coach GTR has slipped on through up into 6th position. So yeah, Alan struggling with the car at this phase in the race. Hasn't pitted yet, don't think. May see him coming into the pit lane at some point fairly soon, but the question that looms over his head is, will he be taking change tyres to try and help the car a little bit more? Yeah, he's lost a position now to Coach GTR. In that the guys talking about trying to join AOR. Want to sign up to the leagues? You can find the links down in the description to the AOR forums. Go on there. You'll navigate down to the Project Cars 2 section. Go into that. You'll find the G section in there, and then go into the relevant platform section and find the race sign up thread and register your interest per the template on the opening thread of that sign up thread. And yeah, in there basically that's the way you sign up for the leagues. Be asked to do a time trial, and so probably an evaluation race if you haven't raced at AOR before in recent seasons, or haven't raced in quite a while at AOR. So the coordinators can get an idea of your racecraft and also your overall race pace. You'll be placed in a tier that will be representative of your race pace, so don't sandbag, because it will only ruin the experience for yourself and other drivers. But we do have a pretty good spread in terms of driver ability here at AOR. There will always be people similar sort of pace for you to battle with. One of the best ways to learn about racecraft, racing through longer endurance races and kind of getting to know a car and setups, is to do league racing. You learn so much over the course of the season. Various mistakes how to try and rectify those for various different seasons. Yeah, get yourself signed up, get joined in. Never know, could be commentating on you, making some moves or defending other competitors around you. Batworm is now into the pit lane. Not quite going through the chicane there. Oh dear, we're going to have an Austin Powers moment here. Reversing, and no, other way down through the gearbox. There you go, fine reverse. This is painful to watch, but he's managed to get on through. Mobile chicane there. Not really a mobile chicane, sorry. The static chicane there. But no doubt that's going to really hurt his chances. Managed to find the right pit crew in the end, but he would have picked up an awful lot more damage because of that as well. Oh, he'll be too happy that we managed to catch that on stream. Sorry, Fatworm. But yeah, that was 10 seconds of entertainment there. Thiago Pereira hunting down Mr. Zach. Battle for 17th position. Two Porsche 911 GT3 drivers. Head to head, close down. 7 to 8 tenths of a second between the two of them. Paphos and Trip reasonably close together as well. Just over a second between those two, and Speedy Go and Club Conan reasonably close. Well, that second between those two guys. Pit lane getting damage repaired on his car, I think. Thiago Pereira back at the two closest cars on the circuit, so we'll stick with them. Come through Jeff's corner, although Thiago Pereira loses out a little bit more. Back pulling away. Final turn now. That one was back out of the pit lane. Back at Clank as well. Half a second between those two drivers. Back by having a 7/10 buffer. Trying to break the toe coming down the start finish line. A little bit deep there. Give it back up though. Ends up having a better run through the second turn. Alan is now into the pit lane. The front runners always pulled in to make his pit stop. Thiago Pereira again, close in a couple of places, but not close enough. Pick up this battle though between Paphos and Trip. These guys are fairly close to one another. Turn 2 hairpin, and Andrax is now into the pit lane to serve his mandatory pit stop, probably to top up on fuel. You're going to change tyres at all. That was extremely quick pit stop. Almost to the point that I'm actually wondering whether to take any fuel on board or not. My god, that was very, very fast, but Andrax in and then immediately back out with a very quick splash and dash. Is now in third position. Yogurt has gone and popped up into second place now because of that. I think Chris dodging a crab. There's part there on the inside of the apex, not an actual crab as in fishing crab. Crab as in our race driver. Yeah, Inky Chris there in fourth position. I'm actually really wanting Andrex to actually stop in the correct pit box whenever he missed pit garage. Be there. If he has, he's going to lost a whole bunch of time. The car did stop in the box. Okay. What Andrex does this time. There's the pit entry. Going round again, so assume that he's served his mandatory pit stop. Carried on going, but Speedy Go. I'm going to look down the inside of Sub Conan coming into Fulton Hogan. really get inside there. It's Avenger closing up on the back this fight as well, so potentially become a three-way fight fairly soon. Final turn. Things relatively nice and easy. Goes dropping off the back of Subconan, and a little bit of a strong Avenger is closing up off the back of those two. Curry and Alan battling away. I think both drivers are now being put in pits. I think the Alan's name popping up. Being in the pits at some point. Lifting this right onto the back of Otto Winkler. Curry was fairly close to the back of Alan, but quite as close as Otto Winkler and Tony Clifton. Back to this battle here. Turn 1 and turn 2. Drivers managing to get the car slowed down and up and towards the apex. Be a change of position now. So, sorry, Mr. Zach lost the position to Tiago Rivera. Go is now right there on rear bumper. Avenger is right there on the rear bumper of Speedy Go. They're coming through Subconan. Oh, big wiggle there for strongest Avenger. Managed to gather that one back up. I think possibly getting a little bit distracted by Subconan turning in really quite early and going across the grass, and then Speedy Go getting a little bit distracted from that. Rear end on Speedy Go's Lamborghini looking a little bit loose there coming into the final turn. Our strongest Avenger to gain a car length or two. Tidy. Three drivers there going through turns 1 and 2. No real change in position. Alan has now conceded the position to Stephen Curry. Yes, indeed, Stephen Curry was behind when we last looked just a moment ago. That's happened somewhere along the lines on the infield section. And going a little bit deep, braking. Have a very late apex, but not really, a little bit too late, not really being able to make the full width of the circuit there. Fubar is still leading the way at the moment, out in the race lead, 20 seconds. Yorga up in front. Does have a little bit of lap traffic in front, but they'll get out of the way fairly swiftly and allow Fubar on, which indeed they do. Is yet to go through the pit lane. 34 litres remaining at them. Andrews has got 41, so they're in front. Has been in pit stall. Apparently then back out again. 36 litres. Well, he can up at 15 litres in his set. Doing in terms of lap times, trying to close up on Andrews. Plus out of him on the previous lap. The comparison in lap time this time round though, at the exit of the final turn. He comes across the start finish line now. There's a 1:22.1, so no doubt into that lap time lead with a mid 19.5. That is quite a substantial chunk taken out of that gap between the two. It's lurking in around 6 seconds at the moment, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Jump back to battle between Speedy Go and strongest Avenger. Go coming to defend from Acura driver behind at the moment. Strongest Avenger. A bit of a struggle going through the penultimate turn there. Up off back of the guys in front fairly consistently, which is then obviously hurting his chances coming off the exit of the final corner on the run down towards rounds 1 and 2 here, which is main prime overtaking opportunity. Braking zone on the circuit. Closes up a little bit. Both drivers running out wide there. the exit of the turn. Avenger having to slow down to speed the time that he had gained running out wide. Only a small amount, but certainly an amount. Winkler is into the... Okay, Nat. Tony Clifton. Hunted down Jobs. Run. Go. Trying to pressurize up Conan. Come closer together over the course of the lap. Across the line now. Lap times it's 2. Speedy go, but I think he may have picked up a time penalty. Goes right up towards the back of Conan there, under braking coming into turn 2. Benjo, we can hear him in the background. Is closed up within half a second of the Lamborghini in front of him. Actually needs to be tidier this time round coming through turn 4, now into turn 5. Their way around there quite nicely. Again, Speedy Go looking a little bit loose through turn 7. Bender is right there. Can have a better run going through the penultimate turn this time. Go struggling through the left corner. Penultimate turn. I was neater and tidier, but Strongest Avenger this time round is closer than he has been the last few laps. Coming into the last corner here. He closing right up onto the back of the Lamborghini, almost making contact there. And comes out a car lengths behind because of that. Moment things remain as they are. Too much change on lap 48 out of 66 in total. Again, Strongest Avenger going deep on the brakes there, coming in towards the turn 5 hairpin. I think he's braking a little bit too late in a few of the places. Overdriving the car. I think that's what is costing him time. Real opportunity to try and get past the guys in front of them. They're kind of battling away again. Strongest Avenger making another mistake, running out wide. Back on the Lamborghini's got one of the race leaders coming up behind. I think it might be Fubar. Indeed it is. Well, I'll be hoping that he comes out. Indeed he does. Strongest Avenger moves over. Wait. Dramatically there out the way of race leader. Go fairly close to the back of Subconan for the moment. Could be close enough to make the move coming down the side towards turn 1 and 2 though, unless he goes for an absolute dive bomb in lunge. A bit under braking, but Subconan nailed his marks. Got that all sorted. Clifton still holding on to the back of Jobsk here. For 30th position. Redwin 17 with Thiago Pereira front there. In 16th place. Aaron Andrax still in 3rd place, and being into the pit lane, but is losing time. Pinky Chris closing up the back of him. Gorguk though, 2 seconds up the road. Fairly close between those two. We've got Coates GTR coming into the pit lane. Manages to avoid the chicane. His run in. Approaching his. Why has he gone a little bit too? Got a little bit too deep. Got to go and engage reverse. But back up into his pit stall there. That would have cost him quite a bit of time having done that, and you can see him dropping down through the order as everyone else is passing him on the circuit. Engage first gear. You're in neutral. Oh, don't say that you can't engage first gear. He's just sat there in his box revving at the moment. There is first gear. Whatever reason, not being released though from pit stop. That's a bit unusual. Not ever seen that before. Car. Oh, he's now retired the car. No, Coach GTR retiring from the race. That's unfortunate for him. He was looking on for a reasonable haul of points here. Caught in the pit lane there for whatever reason. Not entirely sure what went on there. He thought that he couldn't engage first gear to start off with, and then when he did, the car wouldn't move for whatever reason. Entirely sure why that was, but that's unfortunate to see as Subconan is very much under threat from Paphos down the inside in the final turn. Paphos looking very, very racy indeed, trying to find a way past Subconan, but isn't being able to do so at the moment. Strongest Avenger is now up into 7th place, as I think Subconan's had a pretty poor previous lap somewhere along the line as he's dropped down a couple of positions, I believe. So the lap times don't really reflect that, oddly enough, as Pathos has gone sweeping around the inside there as Subconan's looking back down the inside again, coming into turn 5 hairpin, but gets caught up on the curb on the inside. Paphos shut the door there on him, but Speedy Go has now lost the position to Strongest Avenger. Strongest Avenger's now up into 6th position, so in the last couple of minutes there's been a whole bunch of position changes and various bits of drama going on. Speedy Go now down into 7th position. 6 goes to Strongest Avenger. Paphos is now trying to push hard and close up onto the back. Speedy Go up in front, try and pick up a few more positions. Andrex has managed to get himself back up into 2nd place. Jorguk has lost the place somewhere along the line here on this lap, and Ninky Chris is now only 2 seconds behind. So the podium battle underway here. Stephen Curry, the Lamborghini there, just in front. A lap down though, so he'll be moving over here on the start-finish straight to not impede you guys in front of him. Happened on that previous lap. Yeah, Jorg's previous lap time was a 23.3. Lost a whole bunch of time, a good 2.5 seconds. Andrex on that previous lap. And now Inky Chris be looking to try and close down possible, and once again the two Audis running line astern in 1st and 2nd position. Yeah, 25.5 seconds between the two of them. Pathos, as we mentioned, looking racy, trying to close up to the back of Speedy Go. Go look a little bit wide. The exit there at the penultimate turn. Pathos only trying to apply the pressure here. Pretty good drive coming off the exit of the final turn, and holds the ground that he managed to gain, but we know that the Lamborghinis are pretty good in a straight line here, whereas the Audis seem to be much stronger going through the corner, carrying a little bit more downforce than what the Lamborghinis are able to produce. Still, after turns 1, 2 and 3, that's remained about the same. The car lengths gained going through turn 4, coming into turn 5, another car length or so gained there again. Yeah, fairly close between these two drivers, and we got some lap markers up ahead as well, like two Porsche 911s. That'll be Otto Winkler and Nuno Aparicio, I believe. Oh, Speedy Go gets caught out by the back marker. Paphos gets caught out by Speedy Go. Contact between the two of them. They need to be careful as to how they're going to rejoin the circuit here. But Paphos doing the right thing of stopping and waiting for Speedy Go to recover back in front. They've only lost one position each as Sub Conan goes on through. They've got quite a bit of a gap to Stephen Curry behind. Oh, back marker between the two drivers as well, but that was an unfortunate situation there. Both of them reading back marker fairly poorly there going into Jeff's corner. Jeff would have had a great view and would be very pleased to see that happen in front of him. No doubt entertained his camper chair, but for those two drivers, going to be two best pleased with that, and I believe that Crab having a spin there in turn 2. Indeed he is again. Circuit without fearing of anyone else managed to do so. I think it's basically behind. Indeed it is, as Andrex managed to pull away from Gorgok by 2 seconds previous lap. He's once again on 23.0 and is now very much under threat from Inky Chris, so we could potentially see Inky Chris here up onto the podium. Got 12 laps in which to do it. Crab there about getting out the way guys as they come on through. Moment in Chris looking to try and pressurise Lamborghini driver in front of him if he can get himself up onto the podium. Final step, closing up a little bit, coming through turn 10. We've got a car rejoining onto the circuit. Does he manage to stay out the way of the two drivers as they go through the penultimate turn? About affected either of them too much, although Inky Chris had to hold a slightly tighter line off the exit penultimate turn there to avoid Ferrari rejoining the circuit. Chris at the moment in the slipstream, in the draft of the Lamborghini in front. It's slowly starting to close up down the latter part of the start-finish straight, but it's close enough to make the move into the first couple of turns. But you can see just how much he's closing up under braking. If he can hold this sort of distance coming through turn 4, get a good run coming off the exit, could potentially be mounting a challenge coming into turn 5, but both drivers pretty good runs going through at turn 4 there. He's not going to be close enough to dive down the inside there. That just holds his ground for the moment. Settles in behind. Just getting very close. Back. Going through turn 6. Now into long. Turn 7. The long right-hander at turn 9. Oh, please say this is lag. That is lag. Thank God for that, because that looked very unusual. Would have been absolutely catastrophic for the two drivers. Things seem to be okay for a pair of them. They're still going, they're still both on track, they still haven't lost any ground to either one of them. They're on through onto the start-finish straight. Surely this is Inky Chris's chance. He's pulling up, looking to the inside, coming down towards turn 1, but Yorgok is going to make it tight for him coming into the first turn. That means he's going to have to get on the brakes a little bit earlier. Yorgok's trying to defend from going around the outside, but Inky Chris has managed to make the move stick, slot himself up onto the final step of the podium for now. We've got 10 laps to try and hold on to that position. We've got 2.5 seconds there or thereabouts to Andrex up in front. We've just seen him flash through the foreground of the picture. I don't think that Yorgok is going to go down without a fight here. I want to try and reclaim that final podium spot if he can, is unless Yorgok is going to take to the pits at some point in the race. Well, he's got 15 litres of fuel remaining. 10 litres for Fubar. I know that he hasn't been into the pit lane as of yet. Andrex has been into the pits. Andrex might be running it a little bit close. With his experience, calm and collected head that he has on top of his shoulders, no doubt he would have done his calculations and worked out the exact amount that he wanted to make it to end of the race. Therefore planned accordingly, but immediately Inky Chris with the pace. 1 second clear. of Jorgo on the previous lap. Back to 1.1. 1.0. I should have stuck with the 1 second claim. Yes, the clear air in front of him. He's trying to maximise that out with that downforce and the aero efficiency of that Z4 as well. Obviously, be making good use of that coming through the infield section and trying to close up onto the back of Andrex. He's taking attempts out here on the opening sector of this lap. Now lurking around 2 seconds at 1.3. First picked up Inky Chris and he got past Gorgok on the previous lap. What's going on here? No, Aparicio hunts down his teammate Tiago Pereira, just over a second between those two. Greg Wynn in the Cadillac. First second behind Nuno. Battle for 15th, 16th and 17th place. But Alan is hunted down Jobsk. Battle for 11th position, and then Pathos chasing Speedy Go still at the moment. Suffered damage to the front of his car after the contact a few laps ago. Missed those drivers. Quite difficult to know where to look, but I think let's stick with this battle here for second position. Chris continuing to close the gap down at the moment. Good 7/10 of a second taken out on the previous lap. We can see he's continuing to eat away at the distance between himself and second place, which is currently occupied by Andrex. Lurking about 1.5 seconds at the moment. Andrex will be very much switched on and very much aware of Inky Chris making inroads, closing down the gap behind. Obviously be upping his pace to try and counter and hold him at bay best as he possibly can. Final few stages of the race. Three litres. Inky Chris at the line. 15 litres for Andrex. Comes over the line. I think may just about have enough fuel to the end of the race, but Inky Chris looked like he's certainly closed up under braking there. 1.2 to 1.3 seconds between himself and second place now. See that exclamation mark flashing up top on the leaderboard there. Every now and then that signifies that they're in and around 1 second to the car in front, which is obviously very, very useful for us to pick out where the battles are. There are various other battles going on around the circuit, but seems to be the key fight, so try and keep an eye on this heading into the last few laps. Big question is, who will come out on top in this fight for second position? Will Andrex be able to hold the position that he currently has, or will Inky Chris be able to get close enough, be able to try and make a move and mount a challenge? Will he be able to slip on past and take second position? At times between the two drivers. Andrex up in his pace and down into the 19s. Chris still in the mid-90s with 19.4, another 0.3 of a second taken out on the previous lap. It really seems like the braking of that Z4 phenomenally strong there in turn 2. That seems to be where Inky Chris is making quite a bit of time on Andrex over the course of the previous laps, but Andrex obviously being privy to the threat that is coming from behind, up in his pace and pushing the Audi a fair bit more. Kubar still got to make a pit stop at some point, I believe. So he has to. 3 litres of fuel there, and indeed he is peeling off into the pit lane now to make that pit stop. Here he comes in. He avoids pain that is there. Does that nicely. Hopefully he stops in his box quite nicely. Indeed he does. So a quick splash and dash for him on the fuel that he's going to need. Andrex and Inky Chris are on their way down towards the final turn. A little bit of traffic though ahead of them that they need to navigate before they slip on through. There's actually the battle between Otto Winkler and Gregwin, fight for 17th position as well, so they can move out the way nice and easily, or will they try and stick their fight out? Gregwin gets out the way. Oh, Andrex and Fubar are actually really close together. Two teammates now are very close. We've got a three-way fight here for the race lead in the final 5 laps of the race. Things have really just spiced up as Fubar served this pit stop, has now come out onto the circuit just ahead of his teammate. A whole bunch of traffic that they're navigating their way through. So far, the guys are being very nice and respectable and moving out the way of the leaders and not interfering with this battle. But yes, things have just gotten interesting now for the final 5 laps. 11.5 litres for Fubar, 10.8 for Andrex. So Andrex is running a little bit narrower in terms of the fuel load. Inky Chris with the nicest buffer out of the 3 of them with 18.1. The 2 cars in front are going to be a little bit lighter in terms of fuel, but I think Dead 4 weighs a little bit less than the 2 cars in front anyway. But I don't think that Andrex is going to threaten Fubar for the race lead too much. It's very much down to what Inky Chris does. Obviously, he's going to be pressurising Andrex as much as possible. I think Fubar will be very much aware of what's going on with the 2 cars behind him as well, thinking that Andrex is going to be under threat, so he's going to need to push himself to try and the lap times down and try and help Andrex by pulling him along and keeping Inky Chris at bay. At the moment, Inky Chris has managed to get the gap in and around second, but hasn't really gotten much closer than that thus far. Obviously, previous lap times not really representative of their true pace due to the traffic that they had to navigate, but their way through. I think Fubar was coming out the pit lane. That lap that he had there is close battle between Pathos and Stub Conan as well, and that one on the leaderboards. Alan and Jobs fairly close together, and Otto Winkler and Gregwin battling away, but has now conceded position to Gregwin. The that car off to the left there on the outside of the circuit. Down Chris on his best lap. A lot of the guys take to the grass to get out of the way of the race leader. I mean, it certainly does the job, allowing the race leaders to take their usual racing line, but at the same time it looks a little bit wacky and interesting for all the drivers down in the 119s. But Inky Chris was the fastest out of the 3 so far. Got the best part of 4 laps remaining. Let's take a look at the penalties. In fact, Inky Chris is currently, no wonder he's not really threatening and pushing them too hard. He's currently sat in the pound seat and here to take the race win, as both Fubar and Andrex have got a 6 and a 4 second penalty respectively. That's going to drop them both behind Inky Chris. If Inky Chris can stay as close as he is, I wonder if Inky Chris is going to sit there and hold station and parrot the race win because of the penalties, or whether he's actually going to push and try and provide us some entertainment and try and actually force his way through on track and take the positions to actually claim a proper solid race win. But even still, with things as they stand, Andrex will finish in 2nd position, Fubar will finish in 3rd, and Inky Chris would come away with the race win. He's got slowed down there by Sub Conan, I think that was, trying to get out of the way. Going to drop them back a little bit, avoid little moments like that, building a gap between them. Yeah, Fubar still pushing on, leading on at the moment. A 19.6 for him, a 20.0 for Andrex, and a 20.0 for Inky Chris as well. 3 entire race laps remaining. I'll be counting down. Go for 2.8, 2.7 lap remaining. Yorgok is now into the pit lane from 4th position. He's got fairly decent gap to WMDR Martin, who we haven't seen too much of in the latter part of this race. He's been staying fairly quiet and under the radar. Obviously, we saw him earlier on gaining and making some moves, but he's now essentially there or thereabouts. Oh no, actually, they could potentially be in with a chance of 4th position, but 4 seconds off the back of Jorguk as he comes out the exit of the pit lane. So let's jump back up to the race leaders again. They're coming in towards the penultimate turn. Very soon, starting the penultimate lap here of this race. They come on through around the final corner. The two Audis up in front, holding station at the moment. 19.3 for Inky Chris there on that lap. Stop Conan into the pit lane of his man pit stop. Last opportunities that he can do so. Just under 2 laps remaining. Things stand as they are. Inky Chris will be inheriting the lead unless he picks up a time penalty. No, because he still have no time penalties to his name. He is still his nose clear for the moment. I think with that in mind, I don't think we'll see Inky Chris try and make the move on Andrex unless Andrex makes a real mistake here. It'll just be too risky for him, as he knows that he will take the race lead, take the win. He's to finish this close to Fubar up in front. Andrex will still hold on to second position within 2 seconds of his teammate Fubar, and Fubar will drop down into third place because he's got that 6-second penalty. Andrex has only got 4 seconds. Here we go then, out of the final corner for the second to last time. Now across the start-finish line, begin the final lap of the race here. Lap traffic up in front. I imagine the drivers will be calm, collected and measured in working their way through and past them without too much interference. Andrex still in position. Paphos moving out of the way. Let the guys through, although it does come back in front of Andrex. Oh, this could be collected. Oh, they're so very close between the two. Paphos not quite realising that Andrex is coming up behind. Andrex very much now under threat from Inky Chris here on the final racing lap of round 3 of season 15. Will he be able to hold off Inky Chris? Will Inky Chris go for the move, or will Inky Chris just hold station for the moment? He doesn't need to risk any contact or any mistakes here with the car. He just needs to hold station where he currently is, and he will inherit the race win. But that little moment between Andrex and Paphos trying to get through the lap traffic has allowed Fubar to get the gap over to 1.5 seconds. He's now having to deal with traffic though as well. This could potentially be Andrex losing second position here. It all depends on what Fubar can do coming through the final turn, but he's getting held up by 2 Porsches up in front. He's going to be coming across the line. Fubar will take the race win here momentarily though, as he will be dropping down into third position. Andrex will come home in second place, and it'll be Inky Chris taking round 3 here. A flash of the lights for him. He's very pleased with that result. It'll be Jorguk who'll be coming across the line in 4th position. He's about half the circuit away from the line at the moment, so we'll briefly look at him. We've got Alan and Jobsk battling away. They're just up in front of Jorguk, so let's actually watch these two guys. There's their final opportunity for trying to swap positions. Is going to be here into the final turn. Jobsk going defensive, forcing Alan to go the long way round, but will Alan be able to slip up the inside or get a switchback? Can he get the drive coming off the final turn? It's going to be a drag race between the two, but it looks like that Jobsk has got the run off the corner and is going to hold on to that 11th position for now. Jorguk will come across the line in 4th place. WMDR Martin, he'll be pleased with that 5th position. Windscreen wiper wagging away like a happy dog's tail. And in fact, actually no, WMDR Martin picks up 4th place with Jorguk with his time penalty. Interesting. Strongest Avenger comes across the line in a provisional P6. How far is Paphos behind? 30 odd seconds. So I think Strongest Avenger is going to hold on to that 6th position. It is, as his penalty is only 9 seconds. And Paphos now, at the moment, still circulating round. He will be... actually no, Paphos has already come across the line, so Paphos will be 7th. Stephen Curry has come home in 8th place as he's doing donuts on the grass there. The groundskeeper will not be too happy with that. Jobsk, as we saw, comes home in 9th place. Alan in 10th position. Conan comes home in 11th place. I don't want to thank you very much. Tony Clifton comes home in 12th there. And then we'll get final confirmation results coming up now. So, Inky Chris takes away the race win due to the fact that both Andrex and Fubar had time penalties to the name. In fact, Fubar 8 seconds in the final few laps. So Andrex comes home in second. Fubar goes third. WMDR Martin, also one of the drivers who managed to keep it clean from lights to flag, comes home in fourth place. Yogurt in fifth position. Avenger in sixth with Paphos in seventh. Stephen Curry, Germany, comes home in eighth position. Ninth goes to Jobsk. Allen in P10. Conan in P11 with Tony Clifton in P12. Speedy Go in 13th position. Got Thiago Pereira in 14th place with Mr. Black in 15th. Big win in 16th. Otto Winkler in 17th. 18th. No, Apparition. Batworm in 19th place with Atomic in P20. Plank first with Crab in 22nd. Deuce in 3rd. As Turbo, we know, retired, as well as Coach R. One other driver retired from the session as well. So that is not quite it here. Round 3 as of yet. What we'll do, as my Discord is now actually working, actually get some of the drivers in for a little bit of a chat.
That'll be why you came. Hello.
So we'll start off with our race winner.
Thank you.
Congratulations, sir. How are you feeling? How was that race for you?
I got towards the end. I was like, I haven't done it, and then because I just put my head down, switched the HUD off, and I was just gunning, trying to put consistent lap in after lap, and suddenly I kind of look over and Fubar's got 6-second penalty. And he comes out right in front of Andrex. I'm like, oh, I think I might have done it here. So yeah, very happy with that.
Yeah, I'm guessing your plan was I'm guessing your plan in the final few laps there was to just sit and hold station behind Andrex, not really risk move.
Yeah, I mean, we all want to win on track, don't we? But the reality of it was that with all the traffic in the back, it was way better to just keep calm, not get any penalties myself. Just sit in that window and just wait for it. So that seemed to work out, especially given that I got spun turn 1. I was kind of fighting from the back the whole race. So.
Yeah, we did see damage on the front of your team that you LA that happened in the opening part of the race.
Yeah, so I mean, I tried to keep it really clean. There's lots of space, and then suddenly there's a Lambo sideways in front of me. So that gave me about 6% error at the front, which round that track's not actually too bad when you're following everyone and kind of offline and kind of not going full tilt. So I just waited for the fuel window to open and then dived in as quickly as possible. It didn't cost me too much in the pit in the end, which was good.
Well, congratulations. That was a very, very strong
Thank you. Yeah.
Bump up a little bit closer to Andrex. I won't overtake it just yet.
Yeah.
Certainly close the distance. But
yeah, I mean, my dream was to get the Z4 on the podium, and I've done it 3 times in a row now. So I think I'm happy already. So yeah.
Excellent. Well, good luck in the next round. Hopefully, we'll see you back in the box again. And thank you very much for providing the answer. Congratulations.
Yep.
For the rest of
thank you. Cheers.
Right, let's get in our second driver, second man who finished second position this evening, Andrex. How are you feeling after that race?
I'm very confused. Where are these results coming from?
Oh.
I'm going to have to reinstall Project Cars because somebody must have implanted some sort of hack or something. I shouldn't be up here. What am I doing up here?
I think you've got pace. You've always been a very experienced and consistent driver. You've been up there. You've been up here numerous times in the past. I think just now with a whole bunch
13 seasons ago.
Not quite that long ago. Back when me and you raced together, teammates, we were both kind of up there, top 5, top 6
top 5. Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know. That kind of race tonight suits me because I tend to have probably a lot more experience than a lot of others from having to navigate traffic. Some of that's down to the multi-class racing that I do. Some of it's just because I cannot qualify for toffee, so I have to make up the positions in the race and overtake people or whatever. So, um, yeah, so it kind of worked in my favor. Um, I thought I was going to have to play a strategic game and risk pitting very early to get some free air and kind of undercut people and so on. But I was managing to get through the traffic and it was going incredibly well. So I just hung it out and carried on. The risk of pitting early means that if you get damage for any reason later on, then your free repairs gone. So yeah, you had to be kind of careful, but at the same time you had to try and get through the pack. So I guess a bit of risk versus reward, but everyone was driving really well tonight. Certainly from anywhere near me, social distancing and all. I think people are just getting out of the way and keeping that 2 meter rule, and either falling off the track a little bit, battling themselves. But we did a practice race last night, and a lot of the guys were there as well. And I think uh, people maybe saw that I had pace and just said, "What's the point in fighting? It's just going to slow myself down." So let them go type thing. And I think they did that for pretty much all the leaders and the fast guys. So yeah, it just worked pretty much perfectly, apart from track limits. Those curbs, those white lines are very, very. Mm,
Creep up on you.
yeah, a
Very
lot of those
quickly.
corners. Yeah, a lot of the corners are very fast corners. So if you get it just slightly wrong, then you end up going wide, drifting out wide, and crossing over that white line. And that white line must be incredibly millimeter perfect. If you even think about going over, then you're going to get a penalty. But yeah, no, it was spot on. Um, Everything went perfect, to be honest.
Good stuff. Well, congratulations on P2. Another good, strong result. You're still holding the lead in the Drivers' Championship. Inky Chris has chiseled.
This is crazy.
Well, as Morph points out, you finally got rid of your sandbags.
I've taken a decent car. Well, it takes us back to Project Cars, like season 2, in fact, when I was driving the Audi, and the Z4 was fast. And I was like, oh, flashbacks here. But yeah,
Deja vu.
that was good. But yeah, I thought we'd just go ahead and take a decent car for once. And well, there you go.
Good on you. It seems to be working out. Hopefully, you can have some more strong performances throughout the season. But yeah, I'll love you and leave you and let you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Cheers, guys. Look forward to the stream. Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, so we'll get our next driver in, WMDR Martin. Happy windscreen wiper guy. Can I ask you about that first? Why is your windscreen wiper wiping?
Why not?
Very good response. Expected nothing less, to be fair. But yeah, fourth position for you. That was a very good result. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I bet. Talk us through your race. You kind of started around the gate, so yeah, you're kind of mid to bottom half of the pack. Managed to keep yourself mostly out of trouble. What we saw, car looked pretty.
Yeah, so started about P18. The fast guys got past me a bit quicker than I would have wanted, so I as soon as my car had enough space for some extra fuel to last to the end of the race, I pitted for, and then I had some pretty good battles. I think especially with Fatworm in the first half of the race, and then we actually, well, I got past him. Then it was just lapping some cars. Then second half of the race was fairly boring because the people that I was catching either pit or quit. Yeah, it was mostly lap traffic and then making sure that I didn't get lapped by Fubar towards the end.
Yeah, even still, pretty good result there, and obviously capital. quite surprising to see. Actually, clock that one.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised what he was doing so close to me. Did he pit? Did he spin? What happened?
He pitted. Yeah, I think he just pitted. Don't spinning off the top of my head. Was thinking that he popped
Fuel
long in his
saving,
box
maybe.
and backwards. I think your top was fairly clean, just ish. Sort the fuel and everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and one side note on my pit stop at the start of the race. So I originally was gonna pit for fuel, but I was in the middle of adjusting my pit strategy while going into the pit lane when I actually bumped the wall and got some damage. So that cost me maybe
Ouch.
about 3 or 4 seconds, and I could have been in front of Coates if it weren't for that. And if he would have stayed in the race, that would have been a nice battle to see.
Yeah. Well, congratulations either way. 4th position. Hopefully, was more good results throughout the remainder of the season.
Yeah, and hopefully a podium sometime if I get a bit lucky.
That'll be good. That'll be great to see. Fingers crossed for you on that one. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, see ya.
Cheers, bye bye. Right, we shall do one more quick interview, and we shall grab Atomic, who unfortunately had a bit of a nightmare of a race. Kind of sliding sideways across the circuit at the exit of turn 4, I believe it was, on the opening lap.
Yeah, just ran a bit wide and had a bit of a moment, and then yeah, just lost the back end, and that was it. Game over, basically.
That's very unfortunate. How was the rest of the race for you? You were fairly quiet on the stream. We picked you up a couple of times, I think. For the most part, kind of flying under the radar, kind of towards the back, but managed to pick up some points at the end.
Yeah, after the first lap incident, I dropped down to pretty much last, I think, and then managed to work my way up a little bit and finished P20 in the end. So yeah, got a point.
There we go. Just trying to adjust some settings on my mic as I see like it's not mic up quite as in OBS. But yeah, you looking forward to any of the races for the remainder of the season? We've got Hockenheim up next next week.
Yeah, Hockenheim should hopefully be a much better track. Not particularly looking forward to Monaco later in the season. That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
But I think the next few races now, I think it's Hockenheim, then is it Donington after that, I think?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's Donington.
Cool. So they're pretty straightforward tracks, so hopefully I can get myself a few more points on those tracks.
Yeah, hopefully we can be moving a little bit further up list in the Drivers' Championship. Kind of in the 23rd. I know your teammates with Vast Turbo at the moment had a bit of bad luck.
Yep.
In rounds. You guys working together on like setups and that?
Not so much at the moment, but I think I will be after tonight's race because my setup was kind of okay, but I was struggling for grip quite a lot, so I think I might have to get Vast Turbo's help a little bit on that one.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can coordinate together and tame the AMG a little bit more and better result. I'll let you head off and enjoy the rest of your week.
Yeah, thank you very much, Yoki. See you next week.
Very much, Atomic. See you next week as well. Okay, so that is going to be it for round 3 of season 15 of the AOR Project Cars 2 GT3 Tier 1 PC League. Just as a quick confirmation in terms of what is going on with the race calendar, there you can see it. We have just done round 3 with Ruapuna GP circuit. So next week, as you may have heard, will be at Hockenheim GP on the 15th of April. After that, we're on to Donington. Well, I'm running through Nürburgring circuit Dubai Autodrome, and then the final race of the season will be at Indianapolis Road Circuit on the 27th of May. So make sure you come back for fourth round on next Wednesday, same time again, 8 p.m. UK British summertime. You subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to be notified of each time that we go live with the live streams, and have quite a few going on here at AOR, so please do consider subscribing to us. If you enjoyed the live stream tonight, hit the thumbs up button, and if you feel like it, go take a look at my social media links down in the description as well. I'll link my YouTube channel and also my Twitter page down there. Very much appreciated if you to this to follow me as well. But otherwise, stay safe, look after yourselves, keep healthy, and yeah, we shall hopefully see you next week. But until then, have fun. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and take care.